All right, so some good news when it comes to trans people. And this video is specifically for those who are pearl clutching about trans women in women's bathrooms because they have no clue what being trans means. So, trans lawmaker Zooey Zephry won't be banned from using restrooms at the state legislature. And this is also, we could also use this as a response to the San Jose State controversy, where it took people 4 years to decide that their teammate is too strong and must actually be a man. Because that's how being trans works. Anyway. Because she's already in the state legislature. So it's not like this is anything new. The Montana legislature has rejected a measure to ban State Representative Zooey Zephry, the only trans person in the legislature, and of course she's a Democrat, from using the restroom. The Montana Joint House and Senate Rules Committee voted 10 to 12, to reject the amendment SJ1, banning trans people from using the appropriate restroom at the state capitol. All right. Zephry was first elected in 2022 and has already worked in the state legislature for a session without issue when it came to restroom usage. But congressional Republicans at the national level agitated for a rule which Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican from Louisiana, implemented, banning incoming Representative Sarah McBride, a Democrat from Delaware, from using the women's restroom at the Capitol just last month. McBride is the first trans person elected to Congress. During the debate on SJ1, a joint resolution that lays out the rules for the coming legislative session, State Representative Jerry Schillinger, a Republican, proposed an amendment that said that the gals' restroom will only be used by gals and the guys' restroom will only be used by guys. The amendment referred only to the restrooms located between the State House and State Senate. One lawmaker who commented on the measure, State Representative David Betty, a Republican, asked if there was any need for this amendment after the previous session of the Montana legislature where Zephry wasn't banned from using the restroom. He said that he reluctantly opposed the amendment because after speaking with women in the legislature, he learned that no one had a problem with the current rules and that passing the amendment would be a distraction from us doing our duties. So it's not that he actually saw Zooey as a woman and entitled to use a women's restroom. No, it's because he actually listened to women, and which is still a step in the right direction. Listening to women, hearing them say that they just don't care, that there was no problem with her using the women's restroom. And that's what so many people who are so pearl clutching about women, about trans women in women's restrooms, don't understand. That you've probably used a restroom with a trans woman and never knew it. Because in your warped brain, you think that trans women are obvious men in dresses, which is not what a trans woman is. So, yeah. So the women of the legislature, I assume on both sides, are like, yeah, we don't have a problem. The amendment will have the effect of making people famous in the national news and will not contribute to the effective conduct of our business, Betty said. So, and again, he's a Republican, So it's nice to hear that reasonable Republicans still exist. You hear so much about the unreasonable ones and the ones who are absolutely off their rocker that hearing reasonable people is a great sign. State Representative Ed Buttrey, a Republican, asked how the amendment would be enforced. And that's something that trans people and allies ask all the time. Okay, great. You're banning trans people from the wrong bathroom. How the fuck are you going to enforce it? If everyone in the legislative body would be forced to get a medical examination or chromosome testing to see if they met the definition of male or female as laid out in the amendment. And exactly, how exactly would this be enforced? So, I mean, granted, that's not a great argument. We should be allowing trans women into the bathroom because they're actually women, and trans men into the men's room because they're actually men. But if that's the only way to knock some sense into people, then all power to them. Because you would have to do the very thing you are afraid of that these trans people are doing. And that is looking at someone's privates that you shouldn't be looking at. So yeah, it's very logical. Schillinger said that no testing would be needed and cited anti-LGBTQ plus activist Matt Walsh's movie, him again, What is a Woman, which he claimed proved that most of us can figure that out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine that, a propaganda movie that's showing propaganda of what a trans woman looks like or what a trans man looks like. Yeah, that couldn't possibly be fake. It couldn't possibly be this nightmare scenario that trans people put in their heads of what it means to be trans. No, that's got to be truthful. Nobody would lie about something like that. Another lawmaker said that there couldn't be an answer to the question because no legal review had been conducted. Okay. State Representative Jedediah Hinkle, a Republican, said that women in the legislature did have an issue in the previous session with sharing a restroom with Zephyr. Oh, goody! A man who tells women that he knows better than they do. Nice! He said that he knows multiple women lawmakers who would go all the way across the Capitol building down to the bullpen to use the bathroom rather than using the one right outside the House and Senate chambers. And that's probably true, but the women of this session don't seem to care. Several other lawmakers, all men, talked about how the amendment should be passed in order to protect women lawmakers. No women spoke on the amendment. Because obviously Republican men know better than women what women want. Seriously. I know this is hard for men to understand, but women have opinions. And even if you don't listen to their opinions about other things, you should probably listen to their opinions about what they are or are not comfortable with. And if they're saying they don't care whether a trans woman shares a bathroom with them, I would believe them over your idea of being a knight in shining armor. It's more like the Boy Scout who's helping a woman across the street who didn't want to cross. Seriously, I know you want to do a good deed. I know you want to seem macho and protective of women. But maybe wait till women need the help before you march on in all ready to tackle whatever enemy you think is assailing women. Anyway, Zooey's first term in the state legislature was not without controversy. The body debated a bill to ban gender-affirming care for trans minors in 2023, and Zephry accused Republicans of having blood on your hands for supporting the bill. Actually, I just saw an article, I didn't read it, but I saw the headline about how 16 trans activists die to protest a puberty blocker ban. I believe it's in the UK. So, it's not exactly hyperbole. This stuff is actually happening. If you are denying gender-affirming care and forcing a trans child to go through puberty, that is tantamount to torture, and his body should be ashamed, she said. I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands. Conservative lawmakers demanded that she be censured for using inappropriate, uncalled-for language during a floor debate. Because because they're bullies. They can dish it out, but can't take it. They can call trans people every thing in the book. They can call them groomers. They can call them this. They can call them that. But if you say that they have blood on their hands, oh, that's name calling. What is it with the mega fuckwits who whine about how, oh, you're name calling, wah, when that's all your deity freaking does. He name calls. He's known for his nicknames. Granted, they're not very creative, usually. He tends to reuse names. Occasionally he comes up with some zingers. But still, this man is known for name calling. And you're going to vote for him and then turn around and say, oh, you called me a bad word. No, that's not how this works. All right. She was barred from speaking on the State House floor. Speaker Matt Riger, a Republican, said he decided to ban Zephry from speaking to protect the dignity and integrity of the chamber. Yeah, because, again, you can call trans people every name in the book, but if the trans person turns around and says one thing, which actually is truthful, that you guys don't like, obviously that is infringing on the dignity and integrity of the chamber. Makes perfect sense. On Monday, protesters in State House chamber opposed Riger's refusal to recognize Zephry on the floor. Why are we acting like this is the... Okay, now I'm gonna have to stop this because... this doesn't sound like... This is, Yeah, they said on Monday. Well, obviously somebody just was copying and pasting from a previous article someone wrote and didn't bother to do any editing because what the hell. All right, so I'm going to stop there. Let's see. All right, I guess I do have to keep going. So, this was badly copied and pasted, but let me go on. On Monday, protesters in State House chamber opposed Riger's refusal to recognize Zephry on the floor. The protesters chanted, "Let her speak," while Zephry raised a microphone towards them to amplify their voices. Police arrested 7 protesters, and Zephry stood nearby as they were booked at the county jail. I raised my mic and stood in solidarity with them, Zephry said later. I am devoted to those who rise in defense of democracy. After the protest, top Republican state House members accused Zephyr of violating the rules, collective rights, safety, dignity, integrity, or decorum of the chamber and its members. Some even called the temporary nonviolent incident a riot and an insurrection. No, sweetie. That was January 6th. That was an insurrection. This isn't. State House Republicans voted to ban Zephyr from the State House floor in a 68-32 party line vote. She was still allowed to vote remotely. Zephyr was reelected this past November. And I don't know the makeup of the Montana legislature, if it's still Republican ruled or what. But the fact that there are Republicans that are reasonable and are saying, yeah, she used it last year, it's fine. And that no woman spoke out against it. I'm going to say that those women who went as far as they could to use the bathroom so they wouldn't have to share it with Zooey Zephry, I'm going to say that either they didn't run for re-election or lost their seats because people were like, dude, what's the problem? So either way, it's obvious that those women are no longer in the legislature, or maybe they had a epiphany and realized, listening to other women who were using the bathroom with her, that there isn't a reason to freak out about it. But either way, it sounds like most people are chill with trans women using the woman's bathroom because they know that, at least in the case of this particular person, there's nothing wrong with it. She has no intention of attacking anyone. I didn't look, but it's possible, it's highly likely she's straight. Actually, let me look that up. Let me see if it says anything. Oh, so she is engaged. To a woman, it looks like. And actually another trans woman. Okay, cool. So yes, she is. So, okay, she is a lesbian. I guess she could be bi. But she is married to a woman, or engaged. I didn't see whether she got married yet. So she's engaged to a woman. Okay? So at this point, she's just as much of a threat as any lesbian woman would be, or bisexual woman, or pansexual woman. So I don't know. If she is capable of, not attacking women because she's sexually attracted to them, maybe, just maybe, this has absolutely nothing to do with her being born male. She's just a woman who's trying to use the bathroom. And the fact that there are so many men who are freaking out about the fact that trans women are using the women's room, it's just a tell on them. They're basically admitting that if they were in the women's bathroom, that they would totally attack women because they would be compelled to, or something. She is not only a trans woman, she is actually attracted to women. And yet it's still fine. No woman seems to care. So why are men insisting that they know better than women how to protect them when they don't feel threatened? I could understand them wanting to stand up for women if they felt threatened about something, but they don't. They're not feeling threatened, so why are we even making this an issue? I mean, this is just, again, a matter of men deciding that they want to be macho and protectors and whatever. Sort of like Trump said, I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not. Which isn't creepy at all. So, yeah. It's great to see that it seems like all around, I mean, obviously there were a good amount of people who voted for the amendment. But it's great to hear that most people, and probably no woman, unless there were women who voted, but they did it silently as opposed to vocally speaking out against the amendment, or for the amendment, that people are pretty chill for the most part about Zooey using the women's room because they recognize she's a woman. She's not out to attack women. She's not pretending she's a woman just to get close to women. She just happens to be a woman using the women's bathroom, and she just happens to be trans. That's it. I think that is all I have for this video. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one.